Hey, what's up? I'm here with Ra Ra Riot. What's up? We got Ali and Wes.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm at the Arts and Crafts office here. This is actually a really cool office. So you guys are on Arts and Crafts, I guess, sort of by default, right? Like you're on, what's the label? Yeah. So
the US, yeah.
Yeah. So then, how did the Arts and Crafts? Because up here you're on Arts and Crafts.
Yeah.
We just recently joined the family.
Yeah, we were kind of just looking for something a little more like special relationship to have in Canada. We like a few times we've been trying to break in here and like, you know, get some traction, but I guess Arts and Crafts came about like just for the second album now, so of ours. So yeah, we're really pumped to be here.
So how did that happen? I mean, like, were you guys on tour with a band? I guess it was on Arts and Crafts. Like, did you meet Dave somewhere randomly?
No, I think it was just kind of like our manager Josh just had been talking with Jeffrey since like the first record came out, and just, you know, I guess they got to be friendly. So, you know, when they found out our second record was coming out, they thought, you know, maybe it would be the right time to team up. So
it's a perfect fit. Like, you know, you guys really seem to suit that family. You know, it's a
Yeah,
great family to be part of.
We feel very comfy. It's been a really lovely weekend.
Yeah. Cool. So the new album, how good does it feel to actually have it out?
It feels amazing.
Yeah. It's The Orchid, and that's the first track. I guess, Ali, this question would be for you. Well, and Wes, but like right away you hear the strings on the first track, and I wondered why that's such an important element to your band. Because I love that. I love rock that also has, like, you know, symphonies and etc.
I think, you know, in a sense it's special because a lot of the use of strings in modern rock music and pop music, it's definitely more of a production tool, and with us it's more integrated from the beginning, a bit more, you know, melodic and present than, you know, some frills here and there. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really is part of the band, right?
Yeah.
Like, so did you get into, you know, were you into rock first? Were you into pop? Were you into classical music? Like, how did it all? How did it start?
I was pretty much classical. I mean, there was definitely some bands that I listened to and loved in high school, but honestly, my knowledge of music outside of that was what my parents listened to when I was younger, and then the people in this band. I was just really nerdy about classical music for a long time. So
Nice. Well, I mean, what were some of those things I guess your parents listened to?
Phil Collins,
Right.
Paul Simon,
Yeah.
James Taylor, kind of stuff.
Nice. Wes, what about you? I mean, I guess, like, how did you start, you know, how did you get into music?
well, my family's like all about music. Both my parents are good singers and a guitar player, and my dad's a guitar player and my mother's a pianist. My brother went to school for jazz performance on upright bass, so it's kind of like, you know, always music in my family all the time. So there's no real beginning, but I probably got a lot of music from my brother. He was like really into U2 when I was like really little, and the Police and that kind of stuff. And also from my parents and the same stuff that Ali mentioned. So it's just kind of always been music, and I played in a million bands in high school and in college until I met the rest of the guys in Ra Ra Riot. So it's just been, yeah, always music for me. Just mostly pop music, though, I think.
Yeah. Now, I guess, like, with age, did you guys ever sort of, you know, when you're a kid and your parents listen to music, you're kind of like, oh, F that, I don't want to listen to that, you know? But then as you get older, you're kind of like, oh, that shit's rad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that happened with you guys at all? Like, you know what I mean? When you go back to, like, Paul Simon and stuff, or were you always just a fan, I guess?
I mean, yeah, Paul Simon's one of my top 3. Phil Collins is great. I mean, Kokomo by the Beach Boys was like the first song I loved. My parents tell me that I just danced and sang, and every time it would come on VH1 or MTV, and so yeah, just pop music is kind of a common love and inspiration for everyone in the band.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it on like Too Dramatic and Boy, like both those songs. Anything you can tell us about those two tracks? I like in Boy that little like and the drum like that part's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
That was horrible. That was a very bad impression of that.
I kind of knew exactly.
Okay, cool. I love that part of the song. It's a great part of the song. Yeah, well, I guess talk about Boy because there's a video for it and there's cats and cats are cool. I like cats a lot.
The video is cool because it's the director said that he was inspired by Kafka on the Shore, which is a Murakami book, which a few of us have read and like really got into, and didn't realize until like after the video was all shot. But like all these cats come from this book, and yeah, so that was a lot of fun to make. But yeah, like that song and Too Dramatic, you know, we like pop music, we like upbeat music a lot. Obviously, the first track, The Orchard, is like, you know, it's like dark and slow and a lot of space, but. And that kind of stuff is important for us to make, but also, you know, we like making music that is like upbeat as well, and that's like kind of how we started. So, making like punchy pop music is like, you know, nothing beats that. So.
Yeah, songs you can sing in the shower or while driving are always really awesome to have in the arsenal.
Yeah. Now, is it harder to like? 'Cause you always hear this, that it's actually really hard to write like a 3-minute. Tight little pop song as opposed to like, you know, whatever, like a 8-minute Radiohead song, you know what I mean? Do you guys, when you're writing that type, because you guys really, I mean, the album really does go in different, you know, areas.
Yeah.
Is it harder to write a pop song? You know?
In a sense, what's hard is that you're always inclined to think about it harder, and at the end of the day, I guess the hardest lesson that we learned was most of the time when we go back to initial thoughts or a more simplistic approach to things, that's always the best thing to fall on. Yeah. But it is always good to kind of go beyond and then bring it back, 'cause then you kind of get the best of both worlds and you're able to consolidate it. And you know, you don't really want an 8-minute pop song.
No.
It's not necessary.
No.
It's a pop song. It needs to be 3 minutes.
Totally.
It's that good.
Yeah. Well, I think 3:30 is like the perfect pop song, I guess they say, but whatever. Okay, so but you mentioned, you know, it starts off with the orchid, and I want to mention actually the end of the record, Keep It Quiet, because it sort of comes back to that like quiet sort of. Yeah. And I don't know what it was, but that's like one of the few albums I've actually listened to, and I was like, whoa, the ending was kind of impactful, just the way like that last drum sort of hit. I don't know, it just sort of left you kind of wanting more. Was that purposely done, or you know?
Well, I think as we recorded that, like when we started playing that song with the Casio drum beat, I think kind of like accidentally like the reverb was on the PA, and I just like stuck a mic on the Casio speaker.
We just needed a metronome.
Yeah, and then but then like to stop it, I just messed up one time and hit the snare drum sound on the Casio. So like, but then when that happened, like the reverb was like all over the place, and so we wanted to keep that moment because it's sort of like abrupt.
Yeah, it's
a little bit sooner than you might expect, or maybe later than you might expect. But yeah, it's just like a fun moment. You know, the first few times we did it, was kind of like I was like laughing because it was like just kind of funny. That it just like ends like so abruptly, but
it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Totally. That's a good way to put it.
It's kind of how the Rum Line ended too, a little bit, with the end of the chorus of Run My Mouth was just kind of like this, and then that's
stops.
Yeah, it's like just like a beating drum, and then it's all over. So
I guess it's just that silence right after too.
Yeah.
Silence can be, I guess, just as powerful, you know.
Yeah. We're into those kinds of endings where you get the opportunity to end on something a little off. Yeah. And that if you have that opportunity, I feel like we try to take it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Just kind of notice that.
Yeah, no, it's a cool part of the album. Like, I know, it was just like the ending. I was like, wow, weird. Like, not too many albums where you actually really notice the ending of an album. I don't know. Yeah. Cool. Foolish, I have to ask about the 80s. Kind of makes me want to go play like Mario or something.
Oh, really?
Original Mario.
Oh, cool.
You guys like 80s fans? You guys like the 80s?
Yeah. I definitely played a lot of video games, a lot of Mario, a lot of Mega Man 2 is like my favorite video game of all time.
Great
Yeah.
game. Yeah, I was at the comic convention. I shouldn't be admitting this on camera, but I was down there. There were tons of video game people, and
We
they all
had
had.
a cab driver talking about that
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
the other day. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was, geeks and virgins everywhere. It was awesome. I fit right in. No. Foolish though, like, there's that cool little keyboard part. Yeah, like talk a little bit about that tune.
That keyboard part is kind of like, that was like, came from sort of like Steve Winwood. Like I got really into Steve Winwood and like like the changing chords on top of like a steady keyboard riff. Yeah, just like I thought making that sound in the middle just like was one of those abrupt changes, and it's not like one of those changes that like shoots everything through the roof. It's like you're going along this way and then it's like a left turn or like just out of nowhere. So yeah, that was just like, I think we like having surprises. Maybe there's not too many in that song, but I think that's a big one, which was a lot of fun to play around with.
Dope.
That's my favorite one.
It's a cool tune. Yeah.
Thanks.
I love playing that one.
It's got kind of like a watery, I don't even know, like
Yeah.
a let's go swimming vibe or something.
Cool.
ExploreMusic wears English Laundry apparel.